Hi there, my name is Susie Mejia and I am presenting a lesson for a high school geometry class. Our standard is South Carolina Math Standard G.GGPE.7. Use the distance and midpoint formulas to determine distance and midpoint in a coordinate plane, as well as areas of triangles and rectangles when given coordinates. Our objective that matches this standard is the student will be able to use the distance and midpoint formulas to find the distance between real-world objects or object outlines and the midpoint between two real-world landmarks. Our ISTE standard is ISTE Standard 1.7.C. Students contribute constructively to project teams, assuming various roles and responsibilities to work effectively toward a common goal. The matching objective with this standard is the student will be able to use the technological and digital tools presented to them to work collaboratively to choose various locations and find distances and midpoints in the real world. Today, we are going to use drones and Google Earth to apply the distance and midpoint formulas to those real-world objects and landmarks. For the first portion of the activity, groups will get a turn on the drone to choose a right triangle they find on school grounds. They will label the two right triangle legs 1 and 2 and label those points A, B, C, and D, where A and D are the farthest apart. They will write down the coordinates for them that match according to a scale of their choosing. They will then use the distance formula to find the distance between points A and D. For the second portion of the activity, groups will head back inside to use Google Earth. They will think of two landmarks that are within 20 miles of each other for this part, putting them on a scale similar to the way they did with their triangles in the first part of this activity. The students will then label the points of their two landmarks. They will then use the midpoint formula to find the midpoint between these two landmarks. The last question on their worksheet asks students what they liked about the day's activity and what they wished was different. In the event that the class were to go into e-learning, I would set up a Microsoft Teams meeting with the class. Students will watch as I use and explain Google Earth to them. Students would then be broken out into groups to work on the digital version of the worksheet together, where the only difference is that the first part now also uses Google Earth rather than using the drone. The point of this activity is to have students do a hands-on activity that will allow them to get practice with the distance and midpoint formulas. This type of activity will especially help students who are kinesthetic and visual learners. Now the students have gone through a hands-on activity to get more practice with the distance and midpoint formulas. I hope that you found this activity interesting and would like to use it or a similar activity in your own classroom. Thank you!